Welcome back to Utopia Talks. Before we start, please like, rate, and comment and subscribe to this podcast. It makes such a difference. It means people can find us and it means we can make more amazing episodes. And you can watch them all on YouTube as well. So, today's guest is someone I've been lucky enough to know for a number of years, call my friend, witness her rise, fangirl over literally every track she puts out. She's also, hands down, one of the best selectors out there. I know you agree, Katie. Oh. She's even won a BBC Radio 1 Essential Mix of the Year. She's won BBC Introducing Artist of the Year. And this year she leveled up, releasing her debut album, Prism of Pleasure, on Ninja Tune. She did a live headline show at Coco just the other day. And to be honest, babes, we're just proud of you.
Oh, stop.
Welcome, Elkka.
Thank you.
Yes.
My girl.
Hello. You okay?
I'm good. We've been doing this for a while. We've known each other a long time.
Not the first rodeo.
No.
But the first time you've been on this podcast,
yes.
Is it?
Yeah.
Have we had Elkka? No.
Nope.
Okay. What are your thoughts, first impressions?
I mean, it's very professional, guys.
Thank you.
I think when you know someone, I was going to say unprofessionally, that's not quite right. When you know someone as a friend and then you see them in a work context, I always find that quite amusing.
And you are very unprofessional outside of the workplace.
Yes. You can't stop me.
That's right.
Not safe.
Tell some stories.
Not safe.
I think the first time I met you might have been at La Camionera.
Oh, really?
I think it might have been. Or had I met you before then?
Maybe before, but let's say La Camionera that's so much better.
I think it might have been.
Yeah.
The opening night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, that can't be right.
You mean the 750 lesbians that turned out for a 50 capacity
Winter Pride
night.
Winter Pride.
Yeah.
We should start there, actually.
Yeah.
Let's cast our minds back. For those listening thinking, what the hell is La Camionera?
Beautiful.
What's Winter Pride? What happened? Was it a year ago almost?
Could be.
Yeah, it was February, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't warm.
Wait, this year? No.
Yeah, I want to say.
Yeah, maybe. It's happened quick.
I can't talk about it without hearing Leo's voice in my head going, La Camionera, La Camionera.
Okay, February this year, I think.
We think.
La Camionera, which is now like a lesbian bar in East London.
Yep.
They decided to make do a pop-up.
Yep.
Like it was going to be once every few weeks in like a basement on Broadway Market in East London.
Off Broadway.
For queer
dark
women.
tapas bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flinter,
yeah.
People
Lesbians.
to come. Yeah.
Queers.
Lesies and lesi adjacents.
Yeah, exactly. Love that.
Yeah. And then it just, you continue.
Well, it exploded. I don't even know how I heard about it. I think it started spreading through the lesbian WhatsApp groups that I'm involved in.
Definitely.
I think that's what happened. Because I think we talked about that. Like, are you going? Like, of course I'm going.
Yeah.
Everyone was there. And then we turned up and it was a sea of lesbians all looking at each other really intensely but not saying anything. No. No. It was like, yeah, you're there with your girl. Your girl's ex is there. Your ex's ex is over there. You know, it was amazing. And it was a moment, and I find it really inspiring. And that's, I literally immediately hit up Alex, who runs the bar, to be like, I think this is incredible. How can I help? And then we actually ended up collaborating on my recent live show.
Yeah, so La Camionera hosted Room 2
That's right.
out of Coco at your headline Coco event.
Yeah, and I'm just so proud of them just generally. I think, you know, I don't think Alex planned for that moment to happen, right? It was incredible, you know, just changed their lives. It's created a bar for us now, which is amazing.
Now they've got a space.
Yeah,
beautiful space.
Where is it again? Homerton?
Yeah.
Near Homerton.
Yeah.
They do great orange wine with the sheep on the bottle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really good.
Drunk too much of that.
I know.
I know.
It slips down.
Doesn't it?
Yes. Dangerous, actually. I'm actually thinking about going tomorrow.
Oh, me too.
What, you?
Maybe.
Oh.
Yeah, Friday, right?
Aren't you away?
No, I'm tonight.
Oh, okay,
Maybe.
tomorrow then.
I always end up wanting to be there. And this is the thing. It's like, it's really chic. It's really stylish inside, which I think is not easy to do, especially under pressure. Because as I said, I don't think Alex was expecting this. And so suddenly...
No, they were building it on the day of opening.
You have thousands of lesbians waiting.
We went on the day of opening, didn't we?
Of the
and
new space.
They still didn't have a lock on the toilet or something.
Yeah.
That's how like DIY it was.
Yeah, and it looks so great. It's just being in there is still, and I've been in there a lot. It feels really special. We just we've never had this. Not really.
It's East London's answer to The Planet in the L Word, the hit noughties lesbian sitcom.
Yeah.
Which was not without its problems.
No, of course.
But I feel like if we were going to like compare it to something, it's that, and like
Yeah.
a space for queer flinter people and women and lesbians, and like it's very it is really special. The
It
way we're all
is.
talking about it with such fervor and passion.
Yeah. They've
know.
they've done a fantastic job.
Mm.
They really have. And it's just nice to have somewhere to go, make out with your girl
Yeah,
and not be stared at.
yeah, it makes a difference.
You know, and just meet people. I think it's a nice atmosphere in there. It doesn't feel like people. I feel like you can kind of go there, make friends, drink gorgeous wine. I mean, like, what more could you want?
Ugh,
Lesbians
dreamy.
and natural wine.
I will see
Sign
you
me
there
up. Exactly.
tomorrow night.
There you go.
And I feel like that ethos, babes, is something you've always carried within your career as Elkka, with parties you've always put on, and I guess with this Coco show, like I couldn't be there, and you were with me. We had a thing to do.
You were working.
We were working.
Yeah. Always.
But it was very sad, but it looked incredible.
Yeah, it was.
Coco's a massive venue, iconic.
Yeah.
You did a live show and a DJ set.
Boy, did I! What a commitment that was.
Tell us.
Yeah, I bet.
I think. Look, you know, I haven't put on nights in a long while, really, since the days of femme culture, where we do like post pride parties. Because they're stressful, as you know, they're really stressful,
Yeah.
and it's a whole other level of like commitment and energy that you need to do events. Then when you're trying to do something that's queer for the community, you want it to be right. Adding a live show on top of that, and then a DJ set just to finish it all off. It was a lot, but it was amazing. And when I did my live show, you know, looking out to a sea of lesbians and queer people, I was just like, this is why I'm doing this. I want to be in spaces, whether it's sipping natural wine at La Camionera or performing for my community, because we just not had that. You know, spaces for flinter have been rare.
There's not many at all. Like I can think of like Michelle Monetti's Femme Fresh.
Right.
Michelle's been a stalwart and a staple in the scene.
Oh my God, an
Yeah.
icon.
Yeah.
A daikon, if you will.
Oh.
Nice.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thank you.
That's really good. I can only aspire to one day be a daikon.
All of us.
Oh. But you got to put, the hours in.
Yeah, you do. You have
know.
to serve your community. I think that's really important, and it has to come from the right people and places.
Yeah.
And look, it was not perfect. We've got stuff to work on, but this stuff takes time to build, and I'm dedicated to doing that because I know, like when I went to Pussy Palace quite early on when I came out, and it was like it had a huge impact on me.
Yeah. Pussy Palace. The what they've done the last 10 years, I think, is incredible.
Incredible.
And there's not, especially for like people of color in the queer scene.
Absolutely.
There's not really many spaces like that. So I
Mhm.
think, yeah, it's so needed. And don't underestimate what happened at your show. And you're saying it's not perfect. Nothing is. But those people who went and had like the best fucking time at
Yeah,
Coco,
yeah.
surrounded by queer people, listening to amazing music. I mean,
I just feel very responsible to get it right. I really want it to be right. And you just keep refining how to make these things better for people, how to make people feel safe is really important. The messaging of the night, so that way people understand what it is and who it's for. We had signs up saying like Flint to the front because a few people kind of walked in off the street and didn't really know what they were coming into. And I got up on the mic because I was just like, I need to say something here because maybe this hasn't been communicated correctly on the door, which is a whole other thing. But to say, like, this is what this night's about. I'm not saying you can't be here, but you can't take up space like this. And I think it changed the dynamic of the room, thank God. And it was great. And, the dancers felt relaxed and everyone just kind of settled into the party. It's very early on. But, yeah, it's not just about, it's like making people safe and then educating people that need to know what this is about and why this is here and why it's needed and why you can be in any other space for you all the time and we don't have that. So please respect that.
yeah.
But yeah, it's exciting and we're going to do another one as well. So
Great. Any spoilers?
I mean, it's a special time of the year.
Oh.
It's a big party. There's usually a countdown.
Oh. Okay. Interesting.
Watch this space.
It's the countdown season finale.
We can go with that. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it's these we are in the lesbian renaissance, obviously.
I've seen my t-shirt.
I know. God, it's so good. You came bounding towards me earlier, and I was just like, this is
It says
great.
lesbians do it
And you look
better.
hot.
Thank
Tick,
you.
tick, tick.
The nips are having a little
Oh, as they always should.
a moment.
They should.
Your lesbian shirt collection is
Oh, it's-
growing by the day.
Isn't it great? It's
Yeah.
I'm so jealous,
Well,
Jags.
you know what? And this isn't me like trying to get a sponsorship, but Cherry Kitten,
Yeah, the one.
the targeted ads
Mm.
that came my
Yeah,
way
I've
in
seen
around
them.
April this year.
They knew.
Just in time for Pride.
They're like, she's a dyke that likes a t-shirt.
And I bought about 6
There you go.
tanks and little, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just,
They do it.
they're amazing.
Do you feel self-conscious at all? Sorry, I know this is not my podcast, but I'm just going to ask you a question.
Go for it.
Do you feel self-conscious wearing something like that?
So this one I haven't, I think I wore this to La Camionera.
Yeah.
I'm wearing it today and I'm
Yeah.
going to wear it on Saturday when I'm playing a queer party.
Mm-hmm.
This one in particular, it feels a bit loud, but then I've
Yeah.
got one that says lesbian princess, which I've worn
Yeah.
to a few festivals, and I think it's fucking sick.
Yeah.
Like, not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not necessarily, but this one potentially this one's a little bit, because you never know.
You don't. It's interesting. I've got like tops with like pussy on or something like that. Whatever. Can't even think.
Well,
what it
his
says.
pussy is. This is a specific one.
Well, I've got one for my Prism of Pleasure tour that I did earlier in the year.
Is that your merch?
That's mine.
Yeah.
That we kind of gave out at La Camionera for the album release party. And then there's another one, and it's just funny. I have had people be like, "Yeah, pussy," and I'm like, "No, babe, it's not for you.
enough.
It's just not for you." And it's not an invitation to stare at my tits.
Yeah,
But-
you tell him.
But
You
on the
can.
whole, it's good.
Mm.
It's good. I'm quite a fan of signposting.
I am too.
I realise that. Like I think I have been from the beginning of coming out. Like I kind of don't mind bringing into the conversation early that I am a lesbian. So I'll signpost it casually.
Yeah,
you
I think
know?
it can be hard. Like I've been with my partner for like a while, but before that, I like being in a relationship. I found made it easier to come out. I don't know if you feel the same because you've been in a relationship for a bit. Like suddenly it's like, oh, you can just say, oh, me and my girlfriend, and
Yeah,
then it's like, oh,
yeah,
right, they're quit,
yeah,
so it's fine.
Yeah, that's why I'll just slide it in. So to speak.
Yeah.
It's sometimes seeing the like shock
Oh, there.
flash across someone's eyes when you
It's
say
the-
that though.
You see them processing it.
Yeah. Do you ever get
Yes.
that?
I had a really fun one. We're going off topic and I love it. In Ibiza, maybe like 2-3 years ago, I was there with some friends, with the girlies, drinking some gorgeous rosé near Cafe Mambo, weirdly.
Mhm.
And then this man, like, I think I asked him for a lighter or something. And then he was like, oh, you're so beautiful. Can I be your boyfriend or something? And I
Mhm.
was like, big smile on my face.
Sure,
I was
yeah.
like,
He doesn't know.
I'm a lesbian,
Mm.
but we can be friends. And the enthusiasm and joy as I said it, because I was like, this is hilarious. And he was like, okay.
Aw.
Didn't know what to say.
Well,
I
it's-
had
go on.
sorry.
No, you go.
I had one
Please.
at Brighton Pride, which the context being I was at Brighton Pride
Yeah.
and I was in
Big
Revenge,
signpost, you'd think.
which is a gay club
Yes.
in Brighton on the night
Yes.
of Brighton Pride. A guy came over and was like, oh, I saw you in the smoking area. Like, who are you here with? And I was like, oh, I'm here with my girlfriend. He didn't say anything. He just turned around and walked away.
What a prick.
Yeah.
Well, good, to be fair. Rude, though.
I mean, good because
Yeah.
he fucked off. Can I
Yeah.
s- Can I swear?
Yeah.
But that's just rude.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's
Men.
interesting. Sorry, just to one on last lesbian
on.
point. I definitely now love calling myself a lesbian, but I think for many years I wanted queer was like more of my like label,
Mm.
and then I just something switched and I was like, no, I'm a fucking lesbian.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Pre-Renaissance. may I say.
Pre-Renaissance. 'cause
We're already there.
we're in the lesbian Renaissance. If you didn't know that, God, where have you been?
Mhm.
You know, with This Is the Year of Chapel Roan,
Mhm.
Billie Eilish, the Guess remix of Charlie XCX,
Yeah.
Prism of Pleasure. There's lesies everywhere. And what I love, personally, is I think, what about all these girls who are like, say they're obsessed with Billie Eilish and they're like, oh, she's queer.
Mm.
Like, and I've seen comments, people being like, wait, am I gay now? Like, and I'm like,
Mm,
yes, babe, go for it. Lean in. Dive in.
Yeah,
Dive in, as they say.
that should be another t-shirt.
What do you think changed? Like, why you're using, well, people are reclaiming the word lesbian.
I think growing up for me that was a dirty word.
100%. It was like a slur.
It was absolutely a slur.
Yeah.
And the girls that were in my school, it was like they were weirdos, and that's the label you'd use, kind of thing.
It was an insult.
Yeah.
You're a lesbian.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like you're gay, that was an insult.
Yeah, literally.
Same thing. I think we've been on a gradual journey over the last few years to see that I think people like in the generation before us are probably now more comfortable being queer and haven't grown up necessarily being like, okay, who am I? What am I? What's my label? I think that's kind of opened up in itself. But then it's interesting now we've leaned into this label quite clearly. It's like it's not a dirty word now. And actually I think you find people wanting to be a lesbian even if maybe they're not. Or it's like it's cool to be a lesbian, right? Now.
I think we're also seeing a more clear, like, distinction between lesbian culture and like maybe more like traditional like gay male culture.
Yeah.
I think that's now becoming more of a thing. We're seeing like specifically lesbian spaces.
Yeah.
People are describing themselves as lesbians or like talking about being a lesbian. Whereas I would say like 5 years ago, it was just like, it's a gay club.
Yeah.
And it'd be filled with gay
Gay
men.
men.
Gay men, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we
love, to be fair.
We love.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like,
But I think it's so important that we do have our own spaces. And
Yeah.
I think me
'cause
and
we're
you've had
different.
convos like this before about sometimes the queer scene. I can kind of only speak for the UK and London from what my own experience, but the queer scene is so centered around like gay white men as well a lot of the time. And like a lot of the bookings can reflect that, and even the crowd, like you play some queer nights, you're like, oh, this is great on paper, but then it's just still like there's like, where are the women or the non-binary or
trans
like,
people. It's
trans
very,
people?
It's very for a very specific person.
Yeah, so it's like, and when you kind of put gender in the mix as well, it still feels like the women and like Flinter people are kind of still being forgotten about or
Yeah.
not served.
Yeah, not served. It's exactly right. Yeah, and I think that's changing. Yeah, we still need more. I saw someone say the other day, like, God, another lesbian night. I'm like, yes, another lesbian
Who
night.
said that?
I think it's just someone flippantly saying on social media. No, it was a queer person.
Mm.
But yeah. And there's Goldie's. There's another bar that's popped up.
I haven't been yet. Have you been? As an
I haven't
great.
haven't even heard of it.
Uh,
Goldie's.
Yes,
Goldie's
babe.
Saloon. I sent it to you the other day. They did a Chapel Roan Pink Pony Club fancy dress themed evening. I didn't go, but it looked great. I wanted to.
Different vibes, very different vibes from Le Cam, which is great. We want that.
Yeah.
Like, God, we want that. Like, there's, we are, I think if we're so far behind that more is great. We've got so far to go for it to be balanced.
But you have two to choose
yes,
from.
babe.
So what's the vibe for Goldie's Saloon?
More like a loungy bar kind of vibe. Yeah, it's very different. Very different. Which is good. It feels different. I think it's nice to have a choice and different energy to it.
Interesting, they've both popped up this year.
Yeah.
I'm playing at Pop Never Dies on Saturday, and it's a Chapel Roan night, and they are doing a full Chapel Roan album run through at midnight.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
good.
Guys, I've not listened to Chapel Roan yet.
Really?
Like, I think I've heard it along the way. I have this really weird
Oh.
thing that I do, which
Okay.
is when something's super popular, I pull back.
Okay,
I
yeah,
do
yeah.
that as
And then
well.
I listen to it in my own time
Yeah.
when it's not being like buzzed about. I've always been like that. So
Yeah.
I'll get there. I'm just not, it's not right now for me.
Okay.
But fantastic. Love it.
Yeah.
As in, like, I'm seeing it so positive. And
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Everyone's getting behind it.
Definitely do, because I think, yeah, she is incredible, and
Yeah.
this album is like the album like Good Luck Babe isn't even on this album. Like Good Luck Babe blew up this year, and for many factors she just like exploded. She was supporting Olivia Rodrigo, but this album's like a few years old. Some of these tunes are like 4 or 5
interesting.
years old.
Oh, wow. So she's been doing it well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's been doing it a long time.
Yeah,
and
she got
wa-
dropped by a major.
yeah, she was signed, then she was dropped, and then she had to work like 3 jobs, and then she basically like almost gave up, and then just kept going, and then things started to
It
move.
ain't easy.
Yeah,
It ain't easy.
it
That's
ain't easy.
amazing. I
Mm.
love that even more now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
she's a real
I'll
one.
get into it.
Good.
When you were making your album, did you like consciously think like, okay, I want to like make sure that queerness is like a big theme in this, or was it something that just as you were writing and making the music, it just came through anyway because that's who you are as a person?
I think the latter. I mean, I've released quite a lot of music already, but
Yeah.
releasing an album, writing an album felt very different. And I probably took more time to think about what I wanted it to be and what I wanted to achieve. But by product of that, my queerness and my femininity, being a queer woman, was just like at the forefront from the get-go, because I wanted it to be personal. And I can't really do that without expressing that side of me.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it was unintentional and intentional, I guess. Probably became more intentional once I like sat down and thought about who am I? What do I want this to sound like? What do I want to achieve? And that was not just about my queerness, but also just I think women's sexuality, sensuality is a taboo still. So I really wanted to, and that's something I've come to in my 30s, to be like feeling really empowered by that. So I really wanted to kind of do something that was at the forefront as well. And then I wanted to sing more. I wanted to collaborate. Like I just had a few things that I really wanted to make sure I explored fully. So, you know, collaborating with different musicians, I collaborated with a sex therapist to understand and explore things in more depth.
Wait, so how did that work?
We just talked a lot about kind of queer theory and about pleasure. She taught me about pleasure.
So what did you learn?
Just I don't. It was just open-ended conversations about, you know, pleasure can come from different places and spaces. It's very individualistic. I think growing up, I wasn't taught that. Sex education we talked about growing up was not queer.
I mean, I remember putting a condom on a banana
The classic.
and being like, okay.
And
Yeah.
then looking at pictures of STDs.
Yeah.
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 That was about it.
So, not great.
What's the
That's
point?
not great, is it?
It's also nothing like but neither of those things are anything remotely to do with pleasure, are they?
No.
It's to do with not getting pregnant
Unless you
and
get sidelined,
not getting an STD.
It's not even.
Yeah.
No. And then kind of going back and exploring the roots of like she kind of introduced me to like Berlin 1920s and 30s, when like you know, people were more free then than they are, you know, post-war. And just there was a time in the 20s and 30s where sexual freedom was quite prolific in certain parts like Paris, Berlin. And then we kind of went back in on ourselves again. So it's just, you know, we just explored lots of different things, and I just wanted to educate myself a bit more. And that kind of then fed into the album, I guess, and just a learning experience for me.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really empowering. She's amazing. But yeah, so I just wanted to kind of, I didn't want to write an album about pleasure without having done some homework.
I love that.
And even if it's not like literal, you know, there's like breathing in there. She Liv's her name. She linked me to a library, an online library of women's orgasms, and people submit them anonymously, and they write about what they were thinking about at that moment.
Wait.
As in the sound of
Yes.
orgasm.
It's incredible.
Wait,
Wow.
there's a library of
Mhm.
women's orgasms. Like, so what's the purpose of this? What do you like study
you can
it?
literally, you can just like it's like a database. You can search through.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So what do you do with that?
Well, it's something that she showed to me, and I just listened, and kind of, it's just, you know, again, it was like an education for me. And then I ended up using like breathing sounds and things into the album. The introduction of the album is like someone breathing and, like, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
So someone out there maybe doesn't even know they've been sampled on.
I haven't sampled someone that doesn't know.
Okay. That would be quite cool though, if you
Yeah.
were like on
Would it? Or would it be horrifying? My orgasm is being sampled. I don't know.
That's so interesting.
If someone was going to sample your orgasm in a song, who would you want it to be?
Oh, God.
Timbaland, because he'd do something really cool with it.
Mm.
Yeah, but he's.
Mm.
I mean, I love Timbaland. Don't get me wrong.
Actually, yeah.
Rosalia.
Oh.
Oh.
Hot.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Good answer.
That's the right answer.
Tim Babe, I loved Timbaland growing up. Do not get me wrong. That was a time.
He kind of did that breather thing. Like,
He did. And Pharrell, but
Anyway, yeah, and onto the album and like the sensual stuff, like obviously the aesthetic of Prism of Pleasure, like the creative you did around it, and like the album artwork, like with the hot tub, and it's all like steamy, and there's like figures behind you, and you're all
Sauna
looking all
vibes.
like smizing into the camera, like wet look hair.
Yeah.
How was that shoot? And tell us about that creative.
Well, actually, so we were kind of all brainstorming ideas. Alex, my partner, and my manager Kieran, and they were very clear what the album was about, and I really wanted that to be shown through the artwork because the visuals are so important. They just tell a different layer to this whole story and create a world. So I knew it was really essential. And Kieran, I'd be talking about lesbian saunas that exist. There's a lesbian sauna group that exists in New York, which is just amazing.
I want to go to a lesbian
So
sauna.
for a minute, I was like, should I set this up here? But
Yes.
I mean, maybe.
Yes.
And saunas are just very sensual spaces, right? So we've been talking about that, and he's like, what about setting your album, artwork in like a sauna and I was like, yes, we can have like different bodies like lying around and like the steaminess, all of it. And then Alex brought it to life beautifully, which was really hard, to get that right. I also wanted it kind of look like a painting at points, and yeah, she did it beautifully. We hired this house in some outskirts of London and had an amazing set designer, and some of the women that feature in the artwork that you can kind of see here and there are friends and fans.
Great.
Yeah. And then, so it felt very, it was a very queer set. I think everyone was queer, pretty much. And it came to life beautifully. I couldn't really have asked for anything more than that, and I really wanted to feel that level of satisfaction from the album, from every corner. And that really, and then seeing it on a billboard, I was just like,
oh my God, yeah, it was on the billboard on Kingsland Road near my house, actually.
Yeah.
I remember walking past it.
Yeah, you guys sent me a video, I know.
How was that seeing your face and that incredible world you spent so long making?
Yeah, I think that was when it really came to life,
Yeah.
like in a different way. Seeing something in real life is different to seeing it on your computer screen. Yeah, I was really proud. It was just, the album for me is a culmination of a lot of hard work. And it's taken me a while to get there. Like, you were saying about Chaperona earlier. Yeah. I mean, it's rare these days that someone does just pop up unless they kind of go viral on TikTok or whatever. But most of us have slogged and had to find their route to it. And that, this rejection and finding your own sense of self along the way. And, so the album for me was a real like, okay, I've done this now. I'm doing this. I'm living it, and I'm really proud of it. And I'm glad this is my debut.
You should be really proud of it.
Thank you.
I read that when you were 8, you said, "I want to be a pop star." Just you said it like that
with an American accent, yeah,
and a cowboy hat on.
Yeah, why not?
And you're kind of doing that. Like with your live shows, your background is a singer and a songwriter. You're singing your tracks, you're leaning into your songwriting, you're playing all this hardware, like obviously you do your DJ stuff as well, but you have this live element. And like I think that was a really cool clip I watched this morning, and it was about how I think Charlie XCX said, like, I'm an artist and I make art. Like it's not like a good artist is not about the songs, it's about the world they create and how that impacts culture and etc. And I feel like that's what you're doing. You're creating art and a world.
Trying to.
I paraphrased there.
No, I think if I hadn't got to this point in my career and I wasn't singing and performing on stage like this, I would have felt like I left something behind. I hadn't got to where I really wanted to be. Because I grew up like going to these big shows, Spice Girls, Britney, like, and I was obsessed from a young age. I would just look around being in these like stadiums or whatever, and just like felt this like really innate feeling of I need to be doing this. I need to be on a stage some point. Like I didn't see it happening like this. I didn't expect to be a dance producer and DJ and this stuff, or to produce music full stop. But I feel like I've got there. It's just a slightly different version of what I thought it was going to be. But now I get to sing it. I love DJing so much, and I really can express myself very fully through DJing. But there's a different level of expression when you are singing your own songs and performing and connecting with people. And that's been incredibly fulfilling and a dream come true for sure. And actually, I think the first time I really felt that was at my headline show last year at Colour Factory.
That was a great show.
Thank you. I mean, it had its imperfections. Sorry, I have to say that. I can't help. It's
That's
like the
life.
I know, but
Life
you know,
is imperfect.
absolutely, and it's about a moment. I think the difficulty is with these things is that you have social media, so you can review everything so stringently, and actually, the moment sometimes is so perfect because it is what it is, and you have the energy of the room.
The energy in the room was amazing.
It was incredible. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the last time my dad saw me perform, and he was there. Which was great.
Of course. Your whole family were there.
Yeah, on the
Remember,
balcony.
You gave them a little wave.
Yeah, it was very sweet.
And a shout out.
Yeah, and that felt like a real moment of like, guys, I've made it. It's okay.
Yeah. Well,
all of this has been worth it.
I remember you saying, because it was your birthday as well.
Yeah.
I remember you saying when you were bought a birthday cake that you've struggled a little bit with age and sometimes feeling a pressure of like, oh God, I'm this age and I haven't got to where I wanted to be.
Totally.
Has that feeling passed now?
Yeah.
Or
Gone.
what advice would you give to someone who is feeling that way other than go and make it?
Yeah, I mean, look, as you said, I wanted to do this since I was 8 years old. So in my head, by like 20, I was going to be touring the world. And then 25, 26, 27, and then you approach 30, and things started happening to me maybe late 20s, early, like around 30 probably. And I think as a woman, there's a unique pressure of age. I don't think the men feel it so much, but I remember being in a hotel room in Italy. I think on holiday. It wasn't for a gig, and I started to panic. And I think I was probably 29, and like middle of the night kind of thing. Like, oh God, like what am I doing? This isn't happening yet. And things were happening, but not in the way that I wanted them to. I was writing for other people, singing other people's records, but I didn't feel in control of my own artist project yet. Maybe I was a bit younger. And I think I had a chat with my mum, and she'd do the, she's very supportive. My mum is an absolute icon in her own field and just as my mum. But I remember like she'd check in occasionally, be like, so how's it going? What's happening? How do you feel? Because at some point, if this doesn't work out, you will have to consider another path, but I'm fully supporting you. And they were good. They were like good nudges, like pressure. My parents were both very good at that. And I remember like panicking in the night and like researching, like Googling people that make it big, like later in life. It was like Denzel Washington. Because he's like 50 or something when he got his big role or something like that. And then like reading about Maria, bless Madonna.
Yeah. She was like 40 when she started getting.
And I was just like, okay, it's okay. I still got time. And that pressure probably pushed me to set up my own label, to start producing and do the things that made a huge difference to my career. But I felt, I think, starting to make it in my 30s, I wanted to hide how old I was. I felt like I felt embarrassed. I think that my success came late. I thought it was a really ageist society, that they wouldn't want me as much maybe or something. And I just realised slowly it didn't make any difference. And that I think I just became more comfortable in my own skin as well. And so at that gig, it was my 35th birthday, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to say this. And I questioned it in my head before kind of verbalizing it to the crowd. And it was really liberating because I was there. I was, performing in front of like 600 people who came to my show for my music, singing to them. I was like, this is it. Like, this is magic. This is what you wanted. It hasn't come in the package and the time that you thought, but you've made it. My advice for anyone that is feeling like that is that there is no straight line or predicted path for any of us. It really comes down to your determination to make this happen and your talent. But I think talent, you have to be talented. But I think what really pushed me to get to where I wanted to be was like constantly being aware of my surroundings. Like, what's working? What do I need to do here? And not sitting still. So like, producing, taking a leap. Because at that time, people weren't doing it around me. There were not many female producers at all. Queer, female, people of colour, like anyone just that wasn't a white dude was not producing. It was really rare. And same for DJing. You had like Moxie, trying to think, Shanti maybe was doing it around then. There's a few people, but it was just not like it was now. Which is why I set up Femme Culture and did all that stuff. But I think really just following what you think is right for you, listening to your own voice, because that took me a long time to figure that out. I used to get so confused by other people's opinions, and I'd want them, I'd ask for them because I felt really insecure and uncertain. And then as my confidence built by doing my own thing and not relying on other people, I could hear opinion, take it on board, see if it resonated with me, and then form my own confidently, rather than it throwing me into this anxiety spiral. So I think listening to your own voice, and I used to think I needed to make a certain genre, or like, this is popular, okay, maybe I should be doing this kind of thing, or present myself in a certain way, and the things that it all changed for me when I just did my own thing. And I think that it's hard watching people around you succeed when you're struggling, but you just have to be really hyper focused on what's right for you. And also, like, that can come in so many different packages and forms. We're all doing our thing in different roles within the industry, so like, for me, performing live is a huge part of what I do, but someone might want to be behind the scenes, and that's okay. Or you start to perform live and it's not for you. You start to tour the world and it's not for you. And I've had that battle a little bit where I'm quite a home bird. So like, sometimes touring for me is quite hard. I want to be home.
I want to be at home all the time.
Yeah. And I'm tired. So like, I don't want to be up at 3 a.m., 5 a.m., or I'm not sociable at that time perhaps, or your mental health comes into it. Like, we all have to figure out what's right for us, and that comes in like multiple layers within this industry. So yeah, follow your gut, I think, is the most important thing I could say to anyone.
Yeah, and your energy is precious, so spend it in the right places.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I've got a show tonight. Very, very kindly, the promoters have invited me for a dinner, and I've said no. I'm tired. I need to look after myself. I need to get home. I need to get home to land at the airport. I get in at 9, and I'm playing at 1:30 to 3:30. I need to just rest, sleep, eat, and conserve my energy.
Yeah.
I don't have it to give today, and I want to give it at the gig. And it's like knowing those things. And I've had to cancel some gigs recently to like preserve my mental health. But it takes a while to learn that.
It does. I
Have the
think
confidence to
also
do that.
well done. I'm really proud of you for sharing all that and showing us how it's taken a while to get to this point. And oh god, it's all up and down. Every day is different. We have good days and bad days. But I think even retrospect to be looking at where you're at and how you can be really at peace with all these things. And as you say, it's not a linear journey. It's really fucking hard, especially right now for artists, with how art has become kind of like worthless. Like, you can't make money off your art in the same way as you could before. And I empathize so much with artists and new artists. You guys know that. And knowing when to conserve your energy, this is a really, really like tricky thing, because at the end of the day, we need to look after ourselves, especially if you're performing and DJing and touring, but also you're making music and you're doing all this stuff. Like, it's
and social media
social
burden.
fucking media.
Like, show it all the time as well.
Yeah,
that's hard. That's pressure.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
So well done. And don't be afraid to put your needs first.
Yeah.
But it can be hard, and I do it as well. I'm like, oh, I feel bad.
Yeah.
I feel bad.
You do. And I think there's a fear of, once you've established yourself to some degree, like we're lucky to tour and make a living out of this. There's probably a fear that, if I say no, are they going to ask me again? But I think you have to kind of have faith in the work that you've done before, the gigs you've done, the hundreds of thousands of gigs you've done before that. And that you do, when you do turn up and you do play, you turn up, you're professional and reliable. And I think that can be missed sometimes because you're in a party environment. Sometimes people probably forget that, no, we're working. Like, this is our job, and I want to do well for you, so I have to be there in the best capacity that I can be.
Yeah, and it's a lot like when you are traveling and you're literally going like in and out to a place.
Oh, it's so disorientating sometimes.
Like you just said then, you're traveling, is it Berlin?
Yeah.
Traveling to Berlin tonight.
Yeah.
You'll get there at 9.
Yeah.
Maybe, by the time you get to the hotel, you probably got maybe a bit of time for a nap.
Yeah, I always nap.
I do as well.
Have to nap.
Like, I
have
can't.
to.
Yeah. And then, but then it's like, that time when you wake up like an hour and a half before or whatever.
Yes, literally.
And it's like 1 a.m. or midnight or whatever time it is. It's one of my. It actually makes you feel physically sick.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the worst feelings. It's fine when you get to the club.
Yeah, but the re-emerging,
and you're like,
your body's like, what are you
asleep.
doing? Yeah, and
It's hard.
fucking with your sleep, your body rhythm regularly definitely has an effect on your physical health and your mental health.
Yeah.
It's all of that stuff. It's like just monitoring it and being aware. I saw a good mate of mine. We came up at the same time as you, Jordan. They were saying that the going to the gym regularly on tour is making a really big difference to them, and I don't do that. And because sometimes I'm just tired and I struggle, but I can see, God, that would make a difference.
Yeah.
Just to reset yourself and like endorphins, and so I'm really proud of them for doing that. I think that's amazing to have the energy to and like look after themselves like that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good shout. Even
Eating
if it's
well,
even if it's just like 20 minutes on a cross trainer.
exactly, just to get yourself out of that. Just to get your body moving in the right way. Also, a real big one for me at the moment, and for a while, ear protection. I get so stressed seeing people at my shows
without earplugs.
Yeah. and standing right in front of the speakers, and I'm like, I want to scream at them, being like, "You don't know what you're doing to your." I think the education on that stuff is so poor, and clubs are not taking enough responsibility
Yeah.
because people are just ruining their hearing, weekend after weekend after weekend.
Yeah, I need to start doing that.
Do you wear earplugs?
Not really.
Really?
Babe,
Yeah.
when you're DJing though,
No.
you have to.
Yeah.
Promise you. And it feels uncomfortable and weird to begin with.
Yeah.
And there's even gigs now. And I got into a habit. I did a US tour recently, and I start every now and again. I just be like starting to take them out throughout the show.
I do that.
And you're like, and then I like would have a couple of gigs in a row where I didn't wear them because I thought the monitors weren't very good and I was struggling to hear. Not good.
Yeah.
Okay, I come home with ringing in my ears.
Yeah, I do get ringing. Yeah.
It's not good. And I've got
Yeah.
very, 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 very mild tinnitus.
Yeah.
Most of the time it doesn't bother me, but that can be awful. And also
Yeah.
just that you're just ruining you once you lose your hearing, you're not getting it back.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely a conversation a lot more people need to raise awareness with. And like you can get like, if you want to invest properly, you can get some from ACS. You can get a Help for Musicians discount, which gives you 40% off.
I think that's for musicians though, not
If
for
you're-
punters.
Yeah, if you're like
There are,
you're in the music industry.
and I bought these for friends. There are like £10, £12 Alpine
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
that.
on. Get them on
Yeah.
whatever website, and they're good.
Yeah.
and they have like I think it's like white, silver, gold, or something like that, and they're different levels of protection. But that'll do you. That will because
Yeah.
any protection's better than nothing, obviously.
Yeah.
And I get it. The foam ones, they can't. You lose so much quality of sound. So I get why people
Yeah.
don't want to wear them. But like, just get them.
I agree.
It's so worth it. It's your it's your hearing, man. Like you can't fuck with that stuff.
I mean, I remember when I was like 18, I used to just go to raves and I'd like put my head like in
We
the
used to do
speaker,
that.
like rubbing it up
We used to
against
do
it.
that.
Like,
You do, yeah. And even now, I'm guilty of like in the studio playing things too loudly. And
yeah.
actually, Midlands was saying this to me before because he's really hot on it. He's like he worries about AirPods. I've got my AirPods in all the time.
Same.
Like it's like a comfort blanket now. Like walking around, just like going to the shop, airport, in the plane, going to sleep, coming here, just at any journey in my ears. And you're like, what's that doing to your ears as well? Like to have, I know we've got to be.
This conversation's making me so anxious.
Sorry. Let's go back to lesbians.
Yeah.
Natural wine and lesbians, please. But it's true. We have to.
Yeah.
We have to be really aware of, and I think we're all kind of floating along, not so conscious of it sometimes, and
Yeah.
you don't want to regret it in like 10 years' time.
Definitely.
And I was like, what?
I'm like that already now.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. What is exciting you right now?
Ooh. Do you know what my honest answer is? Not a lot.
Okay, let's go there.
To be honest,
Let's go there.
I'm tired, like from touring, and I've started to feel lack of excitement, and this is something I love to do. So, truthfully, I'm the fact that I can't give you a very good I could make up an answer.
No, don't make up an answer.
But yeah, no, I think that knowing that and realizing that recently is like I need a bit of a break to reset.
Okay, I mean that makes sense. We're in September, mid-September as we record this. I also feel very fucking tired.
Yeah,
like
the summer,
late
it's really
summer.
intense. It's wonderful and it's amazing. You get to play all these shows and like it's a high energy time. But then you get a bit of a crash, I think, and I think I'm kind of in that. And I'm like ready to like lean into like being in the studio. I'm
Yeah.
ready to be creative again. I want to hibernate a little bit.
I'm ready to like clock off for Christmas.
Yeah, that would be great if we could just do that. That'd be fantastic. And I don't mean to sound. I really don't want anyone to think that like I'm not really deeply appreciative of touring and the gigs, but I'm just a bit tired.
Yeah.
Just need to reset. I need to feel inspired.
You've also done so much this year, like releasing your album. You've had a lot of stuff going on, like
yeah, and losing my dad.
yeah, and you've been very like you've shared a lot of that as well.
Yeah,
Online, and you got a song that you wrote on the day of his funeral on your album.
yeah,
You know, you've shared a lot about that, and I think
yeah.
don't ever feel bad for feeling
Yeah.
anything. To be honest, babes.
No, for sure. And which is why I gave you an honest answer.
Yeah.
I just need to like spend some time living again, and just fueling myself.
And do you think doing less live things, making more music, that might be a nice way to...
I need to do living a lot of life and
Okay.
making a lot of music simultaneously. That's what I need to do. I need to have room for both. I need to be able to go to the Camionera on a Friday night. I need to go for a walk with my mum. Get drunk with my friends. Do you know what I mean? I need to like go to a gallery. Just normal stuff.
Let's
Cook
do
a
it.
roast.
That's my favorite hobby.
You know what I mean? Like I'm just like go to the theatre. Like
Mm.
just things that are going to fuel me. I need a bit of that before I can give more again.
It was hard to like live a normal life when you are non-stop DJing.
I find I life happens on the weekend.
Mm.
So missing that sometimes I find I kind of mourn it a little bit.
I know what you mean. My perfect like weekend is like not having not having any gigs,
Yeah.
or like a really fun like small like London-y one where all my friends are at.
The best.
You know what I mean? Like a whatever.
Ugh,
Yeah.
the dream.
Like I did one at Soho House last week. So random.
Mm.
I was like, oh, this will be fine. And then like all my friends just appeared.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Little pacante in hand,
Yeah.
just silly.
See, I'd happily
and
like
fab.
play a queer party.
Yeah.
That fuels me.
Yeah. Soul nourishing.
It is. It makes such a difference playing
Mm.
for queer crowds. I find it like I'm in my happiest existence,
Same.
and I could just be there for hours. But then playing for a straight crowd that's like maybe a bit younger, don't really know what they want or want things instantly. Just drop. I just lose the kind of energy for it. So
My
yeah,
powers don't work here.
no, it is kind of feels like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want what I'm giving you, and I don't really want what you're giving me.
Yeah.
But I'll try because I still love it, but and sometimes bringing people along is quite amazing. A crowd that's not expecting the kind of music you're playing, and
Yep.
finding a way to get them engaged is really rewarding.
It's hard to do, but yeah,
hard.
it is rewarding.
It's hard. You're giving a lot. So yeah, I just want to do some normal things, and then I think I'll tell you
Okay,
in
great.
a month, probably 6 weeks. I think I'll have more things to say what I'm excited
You
about.
can let me know.
I will. I'll message you.
What are your just general thoughts on the scene and things at the moment? Because it feels like we're in a very strange time, and I'm having a lot of conversations with friends and artists, people in the industry, people not in the industry. People have various takes on this. Like, I feel like it's a bit of a chaotic era
But in what way?
in terms of like what's working, in terms of like just basic marketing of tracks. Like I feel like people are like, does this work? Are you meant to do this on TikTok?
Yeah.
Does this work? How do I get revenue? That because streaming isn't giving me anything, or the live spaces where people aren't buying tickets till like the day of.
That's true. That's
It's a very
true.
strange time.
Actually, those two things are very true. I think I find I am less certain about what will click than before. The rules feel like the rules have changed, or there are no rules now.
I don't think there's any rules.
Which is obviously good in some ways, but you're right. Ticket sales are later. I think it feels more uncertain.
Yeah, I just wondered if you had any thoughts on that. Obviously, you've released a big body of work this year. Like we're probably looking at what you're going to do in the future.
Oh God, I don't know. Yeah,
Sorry, that was a big question.
yeah. No. I'm going to start that. Like, the hibernation bit is also me figuring out what I want to do next.
That's a good plan.
Yeah.
I might join you.
Yeah, please.
Wait till it's all over.
I know.
Bye.
See ya. Yeah, it is less predictable. It's less certain. Sometimes that's good because it opens up spaces that weren't there before, perhaps. But I don't know, Jags. I I don't know.
Fair.
I don't.
Do you know?
I don't know where we're going. Do you know what's it's this again? I'm sorry to bring it back to this. It sounds basic. I think I've been so uplifted by the lesbian renaissance
Yes.
that I've stopped keeping an eye on the industry a little bit, because I've just been so happy that that's become prominent and empowering and positive and exciting, that I've stopped kind of analysing what's around me as much as I probably would do normally.
Mm. Fair enough.
And that's feeding me,
That's a great thing.
and that's feeding my music, my social life, the club night. So I guess I've had less of an eye on like generally what's happening.
Not having to like fight so much to do that stuff and have those things, just being able to enjoy them and
Yeah.
express them,
Yeah.
rather than having to constantly feel like we don't have a space, or we can't talk about that, or you can't make that because of this reason. Maybe.
Especially in the mainstream. I think even like us having this podcast, like, because we talk about gay shit pretty much constantly. And the guests we get on, like, you know, this podcast isn't exclusively like for just talking to queer people or just talking that we talk to a lot of women on this podcast, but like it's not exclusively that. But I think because we're just picking people we want to speak to
Right.
in our sphere, it's like naturally skewed that way.
Yeah.
And like, but and I guess it's like there's not really been many like mainstream like lesbian and like queer moments or figures, or do you know what I mean? It would be like a gay man like Graham Norton. This is the lesbian Graham Norton.
You are the
show.
lesbian Graham Norton.
I am the lesbian Graham Norton.
Oh my god, am I going to flip back on the chair?
Whoa!
So that's an old reference.
So that's good.
Because I'm in my 30s.
That's good.
Thank you.
Who's Graham Norton again?
Yeah. Don't be that person. Please don't.
These Gen Zs.
Yeah, get out.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's nice seeing more mainstream representation.
Yeah. So
For sure.
so with what's happening around us in the industry, I'm not sure.
Fair. Fuck 'em.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm kind of on that like fuck everyone vibe at the mo. It's quite nice.
Yeah, as in, I think we just have to do our own thing. She doesn't mean that literally.
Yeah, no, I was thinking
Not that. Dirty mind.
Don't go
Sorry.
there.
We're coming towards the end. Yeah, one more. Well, I guess one more question. If you're
I'm ready.
if you
I'm
have
down.
us.
Yeah.
Your utopia. What is it? Take us there. Elkka's utopia.
Ugh, it's not going to surprise you. Okay. So, obviously surrounded by my people. We've made that very clear throughout this podcast. Women, lesbians, Flinter. I work a sea of them. So I want to be with my community. Amazing music that has depth to it, that isn't just made to be instantly consumed and eaten and spat out. So a plethora of different sounds from different people. Because I listen to some really random shit throughout my day. I don't just live in club world, you know? So I need a variety. Same with art. Food is huge to me. Great food. I'm not happy if I'm not eating well. You
Do
know?
you have a favourite cuisine?
I can't. You can't do that to me. No. Someone recently asked me like what would be my what's it called?
Death
Your
row
last
meal.
meal. Yeah. I got 3 courses. It was really hard. It took me a long time. And I'm still working on it. So no.
Whole other podcast.
Whole other podcast. I could do a food podcast.
Off menu.
You
That's
should
the title.
do like a pleasure podcast.
Well, food and pleasure.
Yeah.
I kind of explored that as well. Like that's a bit. They are for me. We're going to get on if you are passionate about music, food, art, and sex,
great.
because they to me are the fruits of life. And if you're not passionate about them, I don't understand you. We're just not going to connect.
Yeah.
So those things have to be present in my utopia.
Great. It's giving like I'm thinking of like
Ancient Greece.
yeah, classical
Yeah,
like Romans lying down, grapes
yeah,
sort of
less
dangling.
like quite a machismo society, but yes,
So when you said like
the
a
queer
sea,
utopia version of
a
that.
sea of lesbians, I thought of this like queer Noah's Ark. You know, of, like the lesbians went to 2 by 2
or 3 or 4.
Yeah,
You know, it's my utopia.
that's true.
Yeah.
Elkka, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
For joining us. We love you,
I love you too.
and yeah, see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.